Well, good Tuesday morning. It's good to be here. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Eugene, Oregon. I'm Rick Dancer, and I just got off the phone with Cassie, the daughter of the veteran we talked to yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm sharing this right now, so if you're wondering what am I doing, that's what I'm doing. And here we go, like that. All right. So, hi Matt Kendall. So I got off the phone with Cassie, the young lady, the daughter of Steve Hensley, the veteran who was beaten up or something happened to him, left unconscious behind Joey's Pizza on 4th of July. And she said he's doing fine. That video that we put out, here's how successful you guys are. This is what I want you to understand. A lot of people coming on going, oh, thanks Rick for doing this. Well, hey, I'm a megaphone. But you're the voice. And this is how it works. If you guys work together, look at the things you can do for good as a group, as collectively as a group. 15,618 views on that video yesterday of people looking to try to figure out what happened to this veteran. And I think we're going to figure it out. And the cops are really, as Cassie said, she talked to the police, or her uncle did, and they're really excited about the fact that so many people are out there. I'm sure the media will start covering it now because it's been out there and it's getting a lot of attention. But this is how a community is supposed to work. Something happens to one of our members of the community, especially a veteran, and we come to the rescue. We figure out, we start looking, we keep our ears and eyes open and try to figure out what's going on. And she said yesterday Cassie said when her dad was watching the video that we were doing, and I said hi to him and stuff, he was at the hospital, they had it on the screen, and she said he waved. So that's a good sign. That means things are getting better. So I hope that all of you see the power that you have as people, as human beings in this society. When we refuse to be apathetic, when we don't, and we don't have to be angry. I think anger is an okay thing because I'm angry that someone would do this to anyone in our community, but especially someone who's disabled, and especially someone who's a veteran who served our country. And so that anger, rather than being something that makes me lash out at other people, when anger is used for good forces. I think anger is an emotion that's really good because sometimes it gets you to a point where you move and you actually do something. And as Jesse Moore on here says, good to see this kind of response. Because see, then I think you start to see as people that when we wake up, we can do stuff. We really can. Think of what our state and our communities and our country can look like if we all stop getting mad and instead let anger fuel us into action. There's nothing wrong with anger unless you start calling people names. And I'm so done with the liberal conservative, the whole thing. It bores the hell out of me. And I think when we get together and I'm trying to tag something, and do that, it's a powerful thing. And that's what I was all night checking the thing going, oh my God, look how many shares. I have to go back here and find how many shares it had. Just unbelievable, the number of shares that you guys put out there. You're right, Cheryl, it really is good to see people working on a common cause and for something for good. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of issues facing us right now as people, as Americans, as Oregonians, as Springfieldites, as Eugenians, as Coburgites, wherever it is that you live. And I think the name of the game is it's time to pull this thing out of our ass. We got to do something about this. And here's the thing that I would, oh, you know how I am. Don't let anybody tell you what you have to think. I'm done with that too. I know what I believe. I have strong beliefs. I also know that I am a person who will compromise. Not my value, but I'm not going to put my belief system on somebody else, no matter how much I think that I'm on the right tread. But I'm going to compromise with people because I don't own this place, and I don't have, I mean, I have a large ego just like the rest of you, maybe somewhat larger because I was on television for a long time. But I also, I'm learning how to tame that and realize that I'm not always right and that I can learn stuff. I'm 60 years old and I'm still learning stuff. Now, what I could learn is if any of you have a Garmin watch, a Phoenix 5, I need a course on how to run this damn thing. I got this for my birthday. I can't get it. I can't figure out how to get it to go. And I've looked online. Don't tell me to go online. I've done that. That all the tutorials don't get me. Don't explain the thing. I don't know. I'm one of those learners that I have to see it done. I need somebody to sit down with me and tell me how to do my watch. Okay, that was a digression. But I'm really proud of all of you for stepping in and getting angry in a good way and using it for good to go after this. Thank you, Rick, for the correction about the media possibly not knowing this. Oh, Walt, that is so awesome. Okay, Walt gets the award for the hour. Walt wrote something about the kind of negative about the media yesterday, and then I stuck up for him saying, well, they possibly don't know. And now, so he's great. See, this is how this works. We can do this. Oh my God, we can have the dance. We can be in a dance. We don't have to beat people up. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Compromise is good. I'm finally waking up to that. I love what is evolving here. I do too. I think this is, honestly, if I was going to be like, really open, and this excites the shit out of me. To see people through social media doing powerful things, because they can't stop us. They really can't. Facebook, I guess, could shut us down, but we will find other means. And see, this is the thing. There's the system we live in wants to control the message. Screw you. Screw you. You do not control the message, and we don't have to let them. In fact, it's dangerous to allow that to happen. We've allowed it to happen for too long. We've abdicated our responsibilities. We've been apathetic. We thought, well, I'm busy. I've got my career. I got my home. But you know what? Community is part of this whole picture. And I see that really big in my business because that's what it is. And so if we as Oregonians, if we as Lane County people, as we, whatever place you're from, and it doesn't mean going out and doing some rally. And I have nothing against rallies, but I'm a former news guy. They bore the shit out of me. If I see another protest or another bunch of signs trying to tell me what I'm supposed to do and waiting for me to honk, I just want to go, it's like barf. Want me to tell you my funniest story? I'll tell you my funniest news story. When I was a news anchor and I was a reporter, I went to a story one time. And it was PETA. I have nothing against PETA, except I do like to eat animals. So I don't agree with PETA, but I also treat animals well. I just don't, I think they're, an animal. I'm on a farm, so I see animals as animals and people as people, and there is a difference. But this lady was standing there, and she had on a flesh-colored outfit, so it looked like she was naked, and then she had this plastic outfit on. And she was talking about how none of what she was wearing, none of it was animal fur or clothing or anything like that. And so I walked up with my photographer. We walked up and I looked down and I see her shoes. And so I said, before you start this news conference, can I ask you, what is this about? And she says, it's about not wearing animal, clothes and animal fur and all that kind of stuff. And so I said, so what are those pumps made out of? She looks down and she goes, I said, it's leather. And she goes, okay. And I said, well, leather comes from a cow, and cows have to die. They kill the cow so that you can wear leather. And I got nothing against leather shoes. I got some on right now. But this woman is a hypocrite because she's standing there pretending to be naked, that she doesn't wear animal fur, and she's got leather pumps on. And I said, okay, I'm done. She goes, what do you mean? I said, we're leaving. I'm not doing a story on hypocrisy. She turns around and she says, you. And I said, maybe, but I'm done. And we turned and we walked away. I went back to my news director and he said, why didn't you cover the story? And I said, because it was bullshit. It was some lady pretending to not wear animal fur and be an anti-PETA, and she's got leather pumps on. That's hypocrisy. It's not an error. It's you don't know what if you're not gonna go all the way, then don't do a press conference and make some big stink out of it. See, and I think that's the thing I wish there was a way that you could have a hypocrisy meter attached to your body, because it's the same thing I feel about the affordable housing issue. A lot of people crying out and saying we need affordable housing. It's huge. It is probably the largest issue in Oregon. We do need affordable housing. Oregon is ranked, God, like 7th or something in the most unaffordable place to live. But then you go and you look at places like Eugene, Springfield. Eugene hasn't opened up its urban growth boundary that's creating more land for houses for 37 years. 37 years. So if you took any economics classes in college or high school or even kindergarten, you would understand that if you don't have enough supply and the demand is high, then the price goes up. So if you don't have enough land to build a house on, and there's not enough property, and there's just very little, then that's why the cost of the houses is going up. So perhaps you need to do what state law tells you to do, and that is to expand the urban growth boundary and plan for that. We're 20 years, I think, behind in planning for growth. And that just adds to the cost. Not to mention all the costs that the city tags on, both cities tag on, hookup fees, all the other stuff. It's astronomical. And now the legislature just kicked in a whole bunch more for building products. So when you buy lumber or concrete, there's a new tax that goes on top of that. So how can you say out of one side of your mouth, we need to do something about affordable housing, and yet you won't do anything about this other issue, and then you add more taxes and more city funds on that it costs people to build a house. So you're on one side, you're raising the costs, on the other side you're crying because we need more. Well, you have to come to a point where your brain is working with your actions, and that's not happening in Oregon. And it's ridiculous. And people like us, we need to recognize that. All of us, not conservatives or liberals or whatever the hell, all of us as people need to go, wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying go out and destroy all the farmland. And that's what the first thing that, the opponents of opening the urban growth boundary, well, we need to protect the farmland. Well, look at your frickin' house. It's probably sitting on what was once farmland. Oakway Center used to be a farm. So we would have no development if we didn't open up some land. And there's land that's not farmland that is developable, but we haven't opened up, and we haven't even done the study to find out what we could have. And so that's hypocrisy. And like I said, I live in the country. I don't want to destroy more farmland, but I also have to compromise what my desire is to have more farmland. But I'm not the guy or the woman who's struggling to purchase their first home. And so see how unfair that is to people? So we're really, that's the train going by, you see it shaking? My whole office shakes when the train goes by. So it's really being arrogant, and it's being really selfish, because you're not giving people who need homes the ability to have homes. Now, I know then we have all the infilling, and I get that, and they're doing that. But and then I hear people like some say, well, we need to build higher and apartments, and people live differently like that. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people who want to live and have some property for their kids to play on, even if it's a postage stamp lot. So, those are hard decisions you have to make. Well, you know what? That's where the compromise comes in, where you get to compromise too, because we're not there yet. Now, maybe that's where we're evolving to, or devolving to. I don't know. To me, it's a point where you can't do both. So you got to do a mixture of both. Maybe we just open it up a little bit or look into it. Maybe we could at least study it. At least meet what state law says we're supposed to do. I wonder what happened if I personally didn't meet the state laws and the mandates that were set up for me. I bet they'd have my ass in a sling, and yet we have city governments that aren't doing it. And that's crazy. It's ridiculous, and it's illegal, and it's immoral. Because look at all the families out there, people that are just barely hanging on. And Oregon is a really hard state to live. I've met so many people that have had to move because they couldn't afford it here. Yeah, why did I move to Oregon? It's sad, but that's why I had to move from Oregon. Not enough good paying jobs to keep up with the cost of the rent. Yeah, I think you see that a lot. You mean Sinclair Media? I don't know what Sinclair Media, what you're talking about. I haven't been reading these, I'm sorry. It's sad when retired newsreader is more current than our local news. Paul, you make me sound like an old fart. And I wasn't a reader. I was actually a reporter. I was probably one of the few anchors in town who went out every day and did 2 or 3 stories and anchored the news. And I'm not a martyr. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I love it. Yesterday I loved going to the police department and finding out more information so that I can inform you. And there's something about that's just who I am. But yeah, well, it's because the experience matters. It's sad when I love that, and I'm teasing you, but yeah, it is kind of funny when I read. It's sad when a retired news reader. That isn't really that one. Of course he's retired. The official media would never let him say that. Yeah, Jeremy, you know what? Yeah, they'd cut off my other nut. They wouldn't allow that at all. It's sad. That's why we moved out of Oregon. I'm trying to keep you. Brent, hey Brent, how you doing? Hey Dana, how are you? We're just having a little conversation here and congratulating you folks on being a community and helping Steve Hensley and working with him. So what do I have go? Oh, let me look real fast before you guys go away. Be sure if you're local. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're local. But we have a contest going on for Exploring the Backstories. That's my other job that this retired newsreader does. And anyway, we're airing videos on our Instagram page. You need to get on Exploring the Backstories Instagram and on our Facebook page, because right now we have a contest going. You're going to win 4 nights to Baker County. Plus a bunch of other stuff, and they decide it on Friday, and do it on the Instagram page, on Exploring the Instagram or Explore Company, either one, and you could win those 4 nights. We already gave the first 4 nights away to a woman from Eugene. She was on our Facebook page. She won 3 nights in Baker City, and we picked her name. But part of the thing that really drew us was she named her son Baker. Because she had so many great memories of being a kid and playing basketball, and her dad would come to all of her games, and they always went to the state tournament in Baker City, and so that's always had fond memories for her. So it was a really cool story. It kind of went along with it. But we also are airing a whole bunch of videos. I'm working on one right now on Baker, and then I've got one more I got to produce, and then that show's done. And then I think we've been in talks with Wallowa County, and I think we're going there the 16th, somewhere around the 16th of August. And then I just got off the phone yesterday with Harney County, and I think we're going to Harney County the first week in September. So that's going to be the Hines Slide, Ranchers, French Glen, the Steens Mountain, and in Wallowa, it's Dragon Boats Racing, or a Show and Shine, I think it is, hang gliding off the mountain, the gondola ride, the lake, the Town of Joseph Enterprise, all those kind of cool things. So it's super fun, and what we're trying to really do with Exploring is give rural Oregon a voice. We want to introduce you to your neighbors. There's some really cool people who live in rural Oregon, and rural is 30,000 or less in a town, and there's a bunch of people that don't have a voice, and so we're just trying to give them a voice. Not a cause, it's not a political thing. It's all just to let you know that they're out there and what they're thinking, and it's refreshing, because it kind of takes you back to the way things were. And I don't mean, God, because there's always people that jump on this and go, oh, and then you want to go back to white supremacy or what? What I'm talking about is taking you back to some of the values of caring for your neighbors, of making sure people were okay. Of what you did yesterday here in the city. What you did yesterday is a very rural Oregon thing. You find out that a veteran who's disabled in your community gets the shit beat out of him, and you come to his rescue. That is a rural Oregon value that we need to bring back to urban Oregon. And we did it yesterday. But we need to do that on other things too. We need to do it when it comes to governing our cities, governing our state, when it comes to how we treat one another, the kindness campaigns, that kind of thing. We need to just give people a break, and people in rural Oregon really know how to do that. And I mean, they'll call you out. They're not pussies, I'll tell you, and they'll tell you what they think, and that's okay. But they're not angry either. They're just frustrated because when you don't have a collection, like yesterday, if you saw just a few people were saying, can somebody help this Steve Hensley guy? We need to find out what happened to him. And when somebody brought it to me, and then I could stick it out because I have a large audience, and all of a sudden they're invited in. And I think, honestly, I mean, this isn't tooting my horn at all. I think you guys are like me. I do. I think that's why you watch. I think you watch because I hope, I think you watch because I think I give you hope. You give me hope. So I hope I'm giving you that back. And I think what I hear from people on the streets, they come up and say, oh my God, I love when because you're just talking real. We can be real, it's okay. And I think what culture and media and party politics does so well is it squelches the human spirit of people, because it scares the shit out of you, so you're afraid to say anything because somebody's going to twist it. And here, we want you to say things. We want you to not call people names, but we're not going to scare you, and we're not going to twist your words. And if you do, I'll kick you off here. But I think that's the game that the culture plays. Is if you say this, then that means you're a this, or you're racist, or you're that, or you're this. Well, we're not doing that. It's none of my business what people say about me. And it's none of your business what they say about you. It's none of your business if they don't understand you. I used to think that I needed to explain myself. I don't anymore. And it's not because I'm arrogant. It's because I realize there's people that just don't want to understand. And there's people who tell me not to hate, and yet they hate. And they tell me to be tolerant, and yet they're intolerant. I don't want to be that. I want to be tolerant of people. I want to be non-hateful. I want to be confrontational. And then I get people that come on and say, oh, you're just stirring the pot. Yeah, because the pot needs to be stirred. And if you don't think the pot needs to be stirred, it's because you're in the pot. And the reason you don't like it to be stirred is because when I move that stick around, it hurts. So you do what you're good at, and I'll do what I'm good at. Anyway, but you guys do give me hope, and I hope that that's what this does. This gives you hope and gives you, yesterday I was just so proud, not me, of Cassie, her family for sticking up for themselves, the angel who came and protected Stephen while he was on the ground passed out, all of you who've come on and said something and done something to help and shared it on your pages. If you haven't, go share it now. That's community. And I'll tell you what, honestly, that's what they're afraid of. When we start working together, they don't control us anymore. And that scares the shit out of them. So, let's go scare. And we don't have to be mean and do nasty things. We're just going to go help people and use our voice, I think. So, anyway, I got to go edit another rural Oregon piece. What could I say elsewise? So later this week, I was going to tell you, that's what I was going to do. So tomorrow, I have a Anthony Lake's story coming up on Baker County. That'll be on Facebook and on Instagram. On Thursday, we're going to have this farmer that I did a story with, that I just love this guy. He farms organic, but he can't claim it because he's not going to get the certification because he refuses to play the game. You'll love him. If you're one of ours, you'll love him. And then on Friday, we'll announce the winner of the second Baker County contest. Now, also on Friday around 1:30 or 2, we're going to be out at Pine Ridge Golf Course. They're doing a tournament out there. And it's like I think it's Cumulus Radio, one of the radio stations. I'll have to figure it out. That could have been a bad thing. And I'm also gonna, then at 5 o'clock, we're gonna be with Summit Funding out in Coburg doing Golden Years, live from Golden Years on Friday. And then on Saturday, there's a huge, and at one of those shows, I'm going to be giving out a $25 gift card to Bangers and Brews, one of our clients over across from Sheldon High School. So tune in and you can find out how to win that. And then on Saturday, around 5:30, there's a huge block party in downtown Springfield. There's a new name, they're rebranding it, called The Block. And all the businesses are going to be participating, live music. My friend Steven Reiser is going to be down there playing piano. It's going to go on for like 3 or 4 hours. The streets won't be blocked off, but the sidewalks will. You'll have these really cool beer glasses you can get, the pint glasses that have The Block etched in them. And then you get a beer, and it's like $6 or something from a special lager that's called The Block, that's just going to be for this event. So that's all going on Friday. So we got Golden Years, live shot at 5 o'clock with Summit Funding. We got Dave Lovall and Nita, the show on Saturday at downtown Springfield, and then at 1:30 Pine Ridge Golf Course. So we got tons of stuff coming up. And then next week, there's just more because we got some really great clients. All right, I'll get out of your hair. I got to go work, do other work. This is work, do you know? I get paid to do this. Well, kinda. All right, share it on your page. I'll talk to you tomorrow.